Hi everybody, Kathy here. I wanted to say hi and kind of give you a update on my situation, on my current situation. Once again, I've got bad news, good news kind of thing. I'm not going to be able to leave here this month like I thought I was going to be able to go. So this is what the orthopedic surgeon said. Splint for 4 more weeks, and then most probably physical therapy, and I'm guessing he's most probably correct. So that puts me at my next appointment around the 4th of October. So I'm guessing as soon as I can actually get on the road and start doing what I've been planning on doing for the last 2.5 years is middle of October or towards the end of October, and then I'm going to have to just make a beeline south. I'm thinking, maybe traveling 101 down to San Diego and then finally going east. That's just a guess. I think Utah is going to be out. I don't see how else I can do it. Not this year anyway. So that's the bad news. But the good news is this is what I've decided. I don't care. I'm just going to go. I'm just going to stick around here though. I'm not going to go. I'm going to stick around here. I drove the motorhome yesterday for the first time since before the accident, and took it to have and I dumped the tanks alone. I did it. I had someone along with me just in case I needed assistance dumping the tanks. Dumped the tanks, and so tomorrow I'm going to head over to my friends at the canal, Hood Canal, and stay there for about, I don't know, 5 or 6 nights. And then I'm going to head over to Port Orchard, my home area, and probably stay with another friend, driveway surf, for a couple of nights so I can see her, and then probably head over to Manchester State Park again for a couple of nights so I have time to see my son and his wife and my 2 little baby granddaughters. So that's my plan, my immediate plans, and then after that I'm going to head up the canal again. The Hood Canal, head up the canal and go north, and go to towards the direction of the Hamma Hamma, Decabush, Lillywop, and Quilcene, Lyre River, and eventually make it to La Push at the Quileute Oceanside Resort again. I'm sure any of you have been following me at all know that's one of my favorite beaches ever. And so I'm going to do that, and then I'll be there for about a week, and then I'll head back here, keep my appointment for my orthopedic doctor and satisfy that, and hopefully if there's going to be PT, it's going to be just a little PT. That's my guess. So I'm hoping. He said I can take this off to shower, I can take this off to type. It's quite painful sometimes. Like the dog is a big issue. The other day the dog and I decided, that's hilarious. I decided I would take the dog to Kitsap Memorial Park and see how it went. Well, he's been trained to walk on my left side, and the correct way to walk a dog is on your left. You have the leash and you go over your leash with these fingers, your left hand, and you control the rest of the leash with the right hand. So you actually have the leash extending from your left hand to your right hand. 1 second. Okay, so I got a leash. So here's here's where it's attached to the dog, right here. And then so you got it right here, and then you have the leash right like this. This is your hand going over the part of the leash, and then on this end you have the rest of the slack. And then you can let it go in between. Well, the problem we had at the park was he wanted to be on my left. Of course, he heels well. That's how he's been trained, to walk on my left. And if I keep this leash nice and snug, here's the dog right here, and here's me, and this is nice and snug, and then I've got this nice and snug. If he pulls it all, I can correct him quickly with this arm. Well, I was having difficulty doing that because, of course, every time I made that jerk, he's 64 pounds. It hurt a lot. And so I was trying to get him to walk on my right side, and I gave him just a bunch of slack, just so he could sniff. He hasn't been out walking, and I haven't been out walking, either of us. I mean, we've been really down since August 2nd and not doing anything or going anywhere. So every time he went, I had him over my right, he'd want to cross over to my left and of course jerk me, and of course then jerk my arm, even though I wasn't trying to use it. It was a reflex because that's how I've been trained too, to walk him properly. Anyway, it was painful for us both, and I don't think we were outside at that park for more than, I don't know, 20 minutes, and we just packed up and went back home. So I talked to the orthopedic doctor the other day about walking the dog. I asked him, okay, so am I going to damage anything if I suddenly reflex and pull him? And he said, probably not going to damage anything, but it's going to hurt a lot of pain. I believe that, but at least I know how to deal with pain. I mean, the worst pain I've ever felt was in my back, and I cry. So I know, like, that's my so-called 10. If I cry, I'm hurting that bad. So the pain I had the other day with him was enough to almost cry, and I don't want that pain again. So I'm, of course, going to be very, very careful when I walk him. Oh, anyway, so that's about the dog. I think I was going to say something else. Oh, and the rest of it is, as long as I can, I tore down the motorhome so I could drive it. I put it back in order after I got back home. And then I emptied the tanks and drove it back, of course. And I cleaned out the toilet, you know, with the extended hose sprayer thingy. And I filled up my tanks without tripping. Filled up my fresh water tank without tripping on the hose. So I feel fairly confident about doing this month of trips around this area, except for the dog is my point here. I'm a little bit worried about taking the dog out for walks, and I just have to be extra careful not to let my reflexes get the better of me. And I like to use a hiking stick when I this thing here. I like to use a hiking stick when I hike because of the uneven terrain. So, oh boy. Anyway, so that's my plan for right now. You know, I'm a little bit, I don't want to say depressed, but disappointed that I can't do the things that I'm used to doing. I'm very, very independent. I want to go forward. I want to get on with my retirement life. I actually looked for a job the other day because I was thinking, oh my goodness, if I'm stuck here for the winter, I'm going to lose my mind. My daughter's very accommodating. My son-in-law is very accommodating. I love my grandson. I love spending time here. I'm okay in my motorhome for the most part. I use their showers just so I don't have to empty tanks a lot in here. And so for the most part, it's comfortable. But this isn't what I had planned for myself. I like to keep going, keep doing things. And so I started looking for a job, and then I stopped. I go, no, I'm going to, instead of doing that, I'm going to just go out there and travel for this next month and see how I feel. And hopefully come the end of October, I can just go. And it's not going to be the leisurely trip I had planned, but I should be hopefully still be able to get to, my intention was to be in Livingston, Texas by the first weekend of November, so I could do that rally for the Escapees Club. That was my intention. Of course, I want to be in at the RTR in January, if at all possible, at least for a short while. I don't know if it's going to be my bag or not, but, you know, I'd like to at least, you know, give it a go. Anyway, so that is there's the anyway again. There's my update, my current, today is oh geez, here we go again. Today is September 8th. It's a Saturday. There we go. I did it. And the weather here is mild. It rained a little bit yesterday, and I just don't want to be here for the really rainy season in the winter. So I'm going to try really hard to get out of here. If for some reason I can't, then I'm just going to get a job, at least a part-time job, and so have something to do. So I understand the casino's hiring. They hire part-time help all the time. So I might do something along that line, something, you know, easy for me, mindless, and kind of give me something, you know, something to get out of the house for and actually do. Anyway, that's my story for today. Take care, everybody. I appreciate y'all watching, and have a great day and weekend. Bye. Okay, so I wanted to add this little bit of information regarding why, and some people have asked me here, my friends and family have asked me, well, why don't I just go and then seek medical attention elsewhere for, you know, the PT or the follow-up appointments with the break in my wrist? Well, the biggest reason is I have Washington insurance, and I have to keep that insurance through the end of the year. I already tried switching because it's just too expensive to switch. So I have to keep what I had through the end of the year through Cobra, and then next year I can do another type of insurance starting January. So due to this injury, I am really afraid to change insurance companies. Even if I could afford the extra couple $100 it was going to cost me, I felt like this was a much better scenario, is just stay with the initial doctor. Everybody here knows what's going on, and don't want to take any chances on this because there's still that small possibility that they might have to re-break it and do surgery, I'm guessing. So I want to make sure I'm with my insurance and my doctor, if that answers your question. And if you had that question, I'm not sure, but people have asked me, why don't you just, you know, go get another doctor along the way, maybe in Texas, see somebody, have some PT there. Well, that's my reason. Anyway,